when we first started out, we figured, okay, you know what, we know how to make this, and we've made a few of them here, and we made a few of them there. But we'll just get the money, we'll get the few $1 million that we require to set up the factory to make it, to go from the lab to commercialization, and then we'll make it in, mass production. But then once we started looking at things and speaking with potential investors, and especially with potential customers, we realized that everybody wanted to see what we had made. They were like, okay, so, you say you can make it, now we want to see it.
Hey everyone, this is Devin Miller here with another episode of the Inventive Journey. I'm your host, Devin Miller, the serial entrepreneur that's grown several startups into 7- and 8-figure businesses, as well as a founder and CEO of Miller IP Law, where we help startups and small businesses with their patents and trademarks. And if you ever need help with yours, feel free to go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat. Now, today is another great Where They At Now, kind of 6 months later episode. So we have our original guest, and I should know, Mariam. I always look at the name and I'm always horrible at names.
Maria with an M at the end.
There we go. Mariam.
Mariam.
All right. And I'm not even going to tackle the last name because I'm going to slaughter that even worse.
That's okay. Ispahani.
All right. You say it much better than I do. But so we're giving a bit of an update. So we had you on about 6 months ago, and you were telling us a little bit of what have you going, and now we're kind of walking through how the last 6 months have gone, what you've been up to, what you've been doing. You're not even in the U.S. anymore. You've gone out to I think it was Bangladesh. Is that right?
That's right, Bangladesh.
So,
yes.
And again, I don't have the cool accent, so I don't even get to say Bangladesh cool either. So we're going to hear a little bit about how the last 6 months are going. So with that much as an introduction, welcome back onto the podcast.
Thank you very much. Really, I respect the work that you do, and I enjoyed speaking last time. Thank you so much, and I am glad to be here again. And let's hope that we can get this thing going and network and see how we can help each other.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And it's a pleasure to have you back on. It's always kind of fun. Always kind of, you leave things off and you're like, oh, I wonder where they ever went to or whatever happened. So it's always kind of fun to cash back up, see where things are, or where things are at and where they're headed. So maybe with that, kind of for those that are either forgotten or tuning in for the first time, give us a bit of a reminder as to kind of where you guys are at 6 months ago, kind of what you were up to. And then let's talk a little bit about how the last 6 months have gone.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So basically, my startup that we're very focused on right now is called Shonali Bioplastics. And we are trying to solve the plastic pollution problem with biodegradable products. And what we did basically in the past, just over the year and a half or so that we've been going, we have focused on how to get this startup going, what we're going to do, how we're going to do, and making a lot of plans. And then, as you know, COVID hit us last year about this time, about a year ago. And even then we said, okay, no problem, COVID is there. And even though it'll set us back, we still said that let's spend this time looking for customers. Let's spend this time planning, seeing what we can do better, as well as organizing ourselves. So when we last spoke, we were very focused on that. We were seeing what could we do to improve the products that we want to offer, and how can we improve the products, as in the way that we are making them. Is there another way to make them? Are there more tests that perhaps could be required in order to get approval, as well as to validate assumptions that we had ourselves with our little, scientific team. And so that's what we did. And we spent quite a lot of time working on that. And in the last 6 months, we're very excited to say that we made a lot of samples, prototypes. And so that was a big congratulations to ourselves that we managed to do that. Because we had made a little bit of this and that in the lab, but we hadn't been like so focused on it. We figured maybe we would do that later after we get some investment money. But we focused on that, and we got we got samples made of different types of products. We got details of what we're going to do, how we're going to do. And now we have some tests remaining. And once we get those tests completed, some further tests that we require to validate our assumptions and assumptions about the product and how biodegradable it will be, how it will work for people in the environment, in society, then we are going to work on filing patents.
No, I think that's an awesome. That's a kind of a great run through of kind of what the last few months have been. Now, a couple kind of one initial question for you is, what took you to Bangladesh, or with your better accent, however you can say Bangladesh, but I'll say Bangladesh. But what kind of took you guys to Bangladesh? Was it just, hey, we have family there, we have a better opportunity, we have better investors, we have, was it work related, business related, family related, personal related, or kind of what made you shift shift working to Bangladesh?
Okay, so we are a US-based company and we're registered in the US, Delaware company, and I've been based in California for like more than 2 decades. But we decided that this product the products that we're going to make, we have 5 products in our pipeline. And we decided that the raw material, the feedstock that we want to use for this product, let us pick a raw material that is not something which is taking away from humanity, something which is not edible. So for example, a lot of biodegradable products, a lot of bioplastics are currently being made with corn, and they are being made with rice and wheat and all sorts of products, which potatoes, etc., that human beings can consume. So we said, let's try to use something which is not in that direction. And so we are not taking away from what human beings would eat. And so we picked a plant that grows in this region. And also my family has been in the business of planting that plant and harvesting it, processing it for different things for like, I don't know, more than 150 years or so. So it was always in the family business. Not that I'm involved in that. This is a completely different venture. But the plant I have known about, and this region I have known about, and so it grows in Bengal. And Bengal covers Bangladesh, which is a country by itself, as well as it covers West Bengal, which is a state in India, which is right next door. So all this used to be one, and then in 1947 it was divided. So we basically decided that let's use that plant. That plant is called jute, and it is similar to the hemp plant, which is now suddenly gaining a lot of popularity. We can use hemp as well, but we have opted to use jute at least to start out with. But we do have run some tests, etc., on hemp, so we do know what we could do with that and how we could process that as well in similar ways. And basically having a network over here, seeing that we could set up manufacturing here and the cost of labor is less. We have connections, as well as the main fact that the feedstock is here. So we decided that, the management team said, let's do that. And so we set up a company over here as well. So we have 2 companies, one in the US and then one here, which will handle the manufacturing and the operations, etc. So for now, we have this going. We also have an opportunity to manufacture in the US, and we are in discussion regarding that right now. Let's see what happens with that. But we figured let's at least, start here and see how it goes. Take it from there.
So I think as a summary, it sounds like kind of a couple of reasons. One is you had family connections and relationship connections, and then you're also saying, hey, there's a good opportunity for a plant over in India that our family's already been doing for a long period of time that fits well in our business, or within the business of what you guys are seeking to do. So kind of has they're both added benefits of being able to spend some time with family, support that, get to know it, and also have on the business side of being able to incorporate that in with what you guys are striving to do. So I think that sounds like a great move and a great opportunity. So one of the other
India, by the way, is next door. This is Bangladesh. Okay. India is next door. If we need them, we'll utilize them as well.
All right. No, definitely that makes sense. So now one of the things you mentioned is, so you guys kind of went to I don't know, went back to the drawing board is way too strong, but you went back and said, hey, we need some new samples of products. We want to kind of look at the plans and the path and kind of get some samples and prototypes and how we can do it, what would work better. And so how is that, how is it, how did you make that determination, or is you're kind of going along saying, hey, we need more? What was the push or the motivation for getting the additional samples and products and prototype? Was it, hey, what we're doing isn't as good as we want it to be? Was it more of, hey, there's better opportunities? Was it, hey, we want to be able to show more things for investors? Or kind of what motivated that going back into kind of lab mode for a bit of time and working on those?
Yeah, it's a couple of things that you said, all of them apply. For
Hmm.
example, when we first started out, we figured, okay, you know what, we know how to make this, and we've made a few of them here, and we made a few of them there. But we'll just get the money, we'll get the few $1 million that we require to set up the factory to make it, to go from the lab to commercialization, and then we'll make it in, mass production. But then once we started looking at things and speaking with potential investors, and especially with potential customers, we realized that everybody wanted to see what we had made. They were like, okay, so you say you can make it, now we want to see it. So when we realized that we will actually have to show it to them, then we need to be a bit more serious about this. And one of the scientists on my team, he suggested that, like, I don't think we should chase after investment at this time. I think we should chase after making samples. We should make the prototypes, we should do lab tests, and we already had done some lab tests. And then, it was suggested that we do even more, so we have all angles covered. So it was a bit of this and a bit of that. And also when we went to the investors, they weren't too pushy about the samples, but they did all say, oh, okay, so you say you can make it, have you made it? And so, it didn't work too well saying that, oh, okay, we figured let's get the few million, and then, so we said, okay, that's fine, then let's spend the money. It's very expensive, by the way, because we have to utilize private labs, we have to utilize university labs, and we are using only our team people to make these prototypes, because we can't even use outside people. So we can't, like, just go to someone and say, you make it for us, this is how you make it, because then we'd lose our formula. And that's why we are now looking to patent at least 2 of the products immediately, and then afterwards the others. So that's why we are like, we got to do this ourselves. And so it's cost us a lot of money, and that was quite a struggle, being a startup, putting in so much money into making the prototypes.
So, and that definitely, that's always a trade-off, right? In the sense with investor dollars and kind of figuring out when that makes sense or if it makes sense. So it sounds like, not putting words in your mouth, but you guys bootstrapped it or otherwise self-funded it in order to get the samples and the prototypes and kind of get to the stage where you're at today. Is that right? Is that kind of when you guys went back in lab
Yes.
mode? Is that how it worked?
Yes, so it's just basically our own internal money, and no friends and family have put in money so far, and no investors have put in any money either. We have quite a few investors in the pipeline. We have a few of them doing due diligence on us right now, and they ask like hundreds of questions. It takes a long time. Some of them, interestingly, have asked for lab reports from like external labs, but we can't provide those at this time, because we can't be telling people what we're doing and how we're doing down to the nitty-gritty details until we have at least some basic patent in place.
No, definitely always a balance and definitely makes sense. So now, so kind of walk through, you guys kind of went a bit, you split between Bangladesh and then California. You kind of have the 2 different branches working there, and you went back into lab mode, retooled a bit, looked at new products, new samples, new prototypes, collected data. And then you're also, you pulled back a bit on the investors, especially COVID is also a hard one with investors. I mean, it makes it even harder for, especially early on when, investors, along with a lot of the world, didn't know what was going on and what to expect. And so a lot of them pulled back saying, hey, we're not doing new investments. We're going to focus on the investments you already have or wait and let this play out. So it was always making it a bit harder time. So it sounds like it was a good idea to pull back, kind of bootstrap it, self-fund, get the prototypes and different samples, get a bit farther along, and it makes it more attractive to investors, and I'll also let things settle down a bit. So now as you kind of look to the next, next 6 or 12 months, kind of looking again into the future, where do you see things headed? Where do kind of what's the next steps in the plan?
Yeah. Okay. So just one quick thing here. Even though I am based in California and we are registered and everything in the US,
Mm,
we most of our scientists are interestingly based in Canada,
mm,
and so except for one of them, all the others are in Canada, and so that's where we have conducted all the tests and set up everything. In fact, it was even suggested, why don't we set up a Canadian company?
mm,
So I said that, like, okay, I don't know, we'll think about that next. But right now, the main focus is to get some investment.
mm,
And we have not gone after local investment here in Bangladesh, but just recently somebody approached me about that. So we're going to see what the options are. We know that the investments that are made here in startups are very small compared to what we're used to in Silicon Valley and the rest of the world. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But we are basically speaking with investors in the US, Canada, and in Canada and in Europe. So we're going to
mm,
see what happens with that, and we're pretty sure that, like, in the next 6 months we really should be somewhere, because we know that there's a need for these products. Anybody we speak with, they say that like, yeah, you really need to get this out there. The And if I speak about the products, basically we are going to be making products which would replace single-use plastic for packaging, as well as replace where you would use plastic in place in the food industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, electronic industry, and you name it. So we have several verticals that we deal with, and we already have letters of intent from customers, so we're pretty excited about that. We have lots of requests from Canada and Europe from companies who are eager to work with us once we get going, as well as to be distributors for us. So all
mm.
that is there. So we see all that coming together in the next 6 months to a year. And we need to basically get the money in, get the machinery here, and get get going on making these products on a large scale.
Mm. No, I think that sounds like lots of work to do, but lots of fun along the way and lots of
Yeah.
opportunities. So I think that will be an exciting kind of next 6 to 12 months as you guys kind of continue to grow and expand. Well, as we kind of wrap up a bit on the podcast, I normally ask the two last questions. I always change it up for kind of where are you at now. And so the question I always ask at the end of the where are you at now podcast or the episodes is, so along your journey, as you've now kind of had an additional 6 months further along in your journey as an entrepreneur, or as a startup and as an entrepreneur, what is your biggest fear?
Okay. Oh, there's so many. I think I don't fear that we will fail as far as the products are concerned.
Mm,
I'm not worried about that, because I know that we can make these, and we know the world needs them, so I'm fine there. What I fear is I am not too sure about, like, the entire manufacturing setup, because I know that we could run into a lot of red tape, we could run into a lot of hurdles, because as much respect as I have for Bangladesh and for other countries besides the US, I
mm,
think that it's going to be challenging, since I have pretty much been in the US for so long and worked there, lived there, never worked, outside the US, except for a few jobs here and there, kind of, but
mm.
mainly being based in the US. So this is a big thing for me, which will be a big challenge, and that's a fear. And so we need to get some very good, solid local people.
Mm.
And so I just want to get those kinds, and once we have that, I think we'll be fine.
Well, I think definitely, there's always a lot of fears that I don't even fears or stresses or strains or things that you worry about, things that keep you up at night, and things that excite you that are fun and that always, and there's always kind of that big mixture. And we always tend to hear everybody, oh, this was the wonderful things and exciting things, but it's always easy to forget that there's always fears as a startup or founder and stresses and that. So it's always great to hear and appreciate you sharing that. Well, as we wrap up, if people want to reach out to you, they want to find out more, whether it's being a customer, a client, they want to be an employee, they want to be an investor, they want to be your next best friend, any or all of the above, what's the best way to find out or connect up to you and find out more?
Oh, sure. We're easily accessible. We have a website. People can send us email through the website. It's shonalibioplastics.com. And you can Google us as well, Shonali Bioplastics. We also have a LinkedIn page, which is kind of active, and we have quite a 400 plus followers there. We have a Twitter page. And so I have some people helping out managing the social media side of things, like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. And so we are basically on these platforms for social media, posting a post here and there. And other than that, we have the email, which is available. And quite a few people also send us requests, for example, wanting to sell for us, be distributors for us, buy from us, things like that via our website.
Awesome. And I think that if I were to spell it out, Sonali is going to be SONALI, and then just the word bioplastics, all one word for .com, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I definitely encourage people to reach out, find out more, and get involved as you guys are doing some awesome work as you guys continue to develop things. So, well, as we wrap up, first of all, thank you again for coming on the podcast. Now, for all of you that are listeners, if you have your own journey to tell, we'd love to have you on and hear or share your journey. So just feel free to go to inventiveguest.com, apply to be on the podcast. Also, as a listener, one, make sure to click subscribe in your podcast player so you know when all the new awesome episodes come out. And two, leave us a review so new people can find out about the podcast as well. Last but not least, if you ever need help with your patents or trademarks or anything else, reach out to us at Miller IP Law. Just go to strategymeeting.com. Thank you again. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun, and wish the next leg of your journey even better than the last.
We will be in touch for sure. Thank you so much.